Hi, I'm Graeme, Chief Exec of SCMA. We're aware of the significant amount of concern which there continues to be following the creation of the Scottish Government's Transitional Support Fund for nurseries and other providers. And I wanted to provide you with a brief update about what SCMA has been doing to support members and also the wider childminding community following that announcement. SCMA has continued to prioritise our discussions with the Scottish Government about further funding for childminding, but we've not been able to share the details of those discussions with you yet, as much of the detail is still to be considered. We're meeting again later today with Scottish Government and I'll update you as soon as we're able. Please be assured that we're trying to get information for you as soon as is practically possible. For those of you who may have missed it, our board also wrote to the Minister for Children and Young People, Marie Todd, earlier this week. As a membership organisation, SCMA has a board comprised of practising childminders from all around Scotland. After discussion at our board meeting last weekend, our board felt really strongly that they wished to write personally to the Minister on behalf of childminders. Firstly, to support our ongoing discussion with the Scottish Government, but also to report that they have never known childminders to be as dismayed and let down as they have been by the Scottish Government's handling of this situation, that this has caused many childminders to believe the Scottish Government views childminding as a lesser form of childcare, and that many of you are now feeling completely devalued, demoralised and excluded. Within the letter, our board also requested the Scottish Government urgently redresses this by allocating financial support to childminding at a level which is appropriate to the serious risks to financial viability within childminding. They also requested that this financial support should reflect the larger scale funding which has been allocated to other providers. This could involve widening the eligibility for applications to the Transitional Support Fund to include childminders and increasing the size of the fund to support this. Or, if it cannot be delivered through Transitional Support Fund, another funding route to provide financial support for childminders should be identified. And finally, our board also felt it really important to request that the Scottish Government apologises to childminders for its handling of the situation and the offence and distress caused. I'm also aware that some childminders may have been offended by a comment which I made in a recent webinar, which was held jointly with the Care Inspectorate and the Scottish Government, and this was to discuss the latest childminding guidance. I apologise for any offence caused. This was absolutely not my intent. And anyone who has been following what SCMA has been doing to support childminders throughout COVID-19 will be aware of just that we're doing everything we can to support you. For clarity, this was a short event with very limited time to respond to multiple questions, and during which I acknowledged that the financial impact of the current guidance for childminding on childminders is less than the financial impact of the current guidance for nurseries on their settings. Now, we understand this to be true, but what there was not time in this event to explain is that we need to look beyond the impact of just the current operating guidance. For childminding, the financial impact of COVID-19 has been very, very significant throughout, and there continue to be very real risks to business viability. Firstly, we are very aware that during lockdown, almost 1,000 of you stayed open to support the national response to COVID by providing critical childcare for key workers and vulnerable children. This was at a time when operating guidance for childminding was stricter, when public health understanding was evolving, when there was a stronger emphasis on outdoors, and also when wider social distancing guidance had resulted in the closure of play parks. Many childminders invested at their own personal expense in outdoor shelters and equipment to enable children at that time to be outdoors as much as possible while supporting the national response, and they feel particularly let down by recent developments. But also, we believe it is really important that the effect on your income is also taken into account, and not just the impact of the current guidance. SCMA surveys have found that 70% of childminders in Scotland have lost over 50% of their income during COVID. 60% of childminders believe their income will not return to pre-COVID-19 levels within 6 months. And while restrictions on blended care have been eased, they've not been lifted completely and will continue to have an adverse financial impact on childminding businesses in Scotland. Now, as an organisation, SCMA is aware from your contact that many childminders have exhausted their savings, have had to borrow money, are in debt, and it's not clear when families who are in furlough might be returning to your services again. So this is what we are talking about, the impact for childminding of COVID-19, not just looking at the current guidance. Finally, we're aware that a number of petitions have been started regarding this, and also that some members have been contacting their MSPs. As a membership organisation and an organisation dedicated to childminding, we believe it really important that more people understand childminding and the issues you face. If you do feel really concerned about this and want to contact your MSP due to the impact which this is having on your business, local families in your area, you should feel able to do that. However, given our involvement in ongoing discussion with the Scottish Government about funding, please note that it would not be appropriate for us to share some petitions that have been sent to us in recent days. But be assured, we are continually working on your behalf. Stay well.